Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Fantasyland Megapark. In the last episode, I focused on this middle island here. I built this giant castle and several surrounding rides, including this jousting arena here, which I'm really happy with. In today's episode, I want to focus on one of the outlying islands, and specifically it will be this one. Now, you may have already seen it in the thumbnail and the title of the video. This will be a pirate island. Basically, the idea is to make this island with lots of tropical foliage, and I kind of want to cut out this island, so this part over here will be lower, and that's where the pirate town will be, and there will be a higher jungle around it, and I also have some fun rides planned for the upper area. Now, before I do any building, let's first go name several more of the handymen in the park after people who commented on the last video. Alright, here you can see the new additions to the Handyman squad, and if you also want to sweep litter and vomit in this park, just leave a fun or interesting comment on this video and you may get picked out. Alright, the first thing I'm going to build in this episode is a nice bridge to this new area. Okay, we now have a nice little bridge here. I did add a few more things after the recording was done. I just couldn't help myself. I've decided to make a wooden bridge here instead of the stone bridge that we have over here. And I plan to make all these bridges kind of themed to the areas which they lead to. Now, this is a wooden bridge, of course. On the sides, I made this fence here, just with these slanted wooden poles, and also these towers have been made with these wooden poles. It was pretty tedious to make these towers, but I really like the result. Now I added this foliage here on the side of this bridge. I think it just looks really nice with the hanging leaves here. I also added some of these ropes in between some of these towers, just to give a nice extra little detail. Okay, with that done, I'm now going to start working on this island. And first I'm going to do a little bit of landscaping here. Okay, here's a very rough draft of what I want this island to look like. As you can see, I cut out a large portion over here. This part goes very low all the way to the water level. And this is where I want to have a pirate town with a harbor. So I plan to make several piers here also with some big pirate ships. It will be interesting to try and make those using tracker texture. And here on the top area we will have a jungle with lots of ancient temples. Now you can see I also dug out a part here. Here's where I want to have a coaster. And I want to have a little bridge over it, so that's why I put it a little bit lower than the path here. Yeah, I have some pretty cool ideas for this coaster. And I also already marked out a few spots where I want to have some bridges in the future. I mean, I could connect all these areas only through the middle part, but inevitably guests would get horribly lost if they were over here and they were trying to get over this land. It would be really difficult for them to pathfind all the way through over here and then to this island. And the same probably goes for the other islands as well. Alright, with this rough landscaping done, I think it's now time to start on this coaster. Alright, here you can see the layout of the new coaster. Now, if you know the coaster Full Throttle in Six Flags Magic Mountain, then you can probably recognize this layout, because it's definitely based on that coaster. Now, just like Full Throttle, over here we have the station, and then from the station there's a launch through a large loop. Then after that the train travels through some curves. Then finally over here there's this dive loop, and after a dive loop the train ends up on this track. And instead of being launched straight over the loop, instead it will break here. You can see this black track. It's actually an underground track. It's basically a sort of a copy of this ride, which makes the train behave as it does now. So over here it breaks, then it gets launched backwards, and then finally it gets launched and travels over the loop here. And from there it's straight into the brakes and then back to the station. Now, I could have made the layout longer, but I kind of decided to stick to what Full Throttle does. And that way we also keep the space behind here, for example, for some other rides. But yeah, what's still left to do on this coaster is to make this underground part of the coaster invisible. And also make these vehicles invisible that are underground, so they don't pop up above the ground here anymore. And then I want to make a nice station for the ride. Alright, yeah, let's get to it. Alright, I did quite a lot of work on this area. As you can see, this coaster now has a nice station. Now in the time-lapse you could see me put a different statue on top, but in the end I went with these Moai statues instead. And yeah, I think the mix of Aztec or Inca, whatever, and these Moai statues, I think it gives a nice, distinct and unique look to the map. Also quite fond of this bridge here. Yeah, I quite like the way this looks with these wooden supports. Now, for the rest, just lots of jungle foliage. I tried to mix it with some of these pink flowers. Now, here you can see the first ride that I added. Here you can see this, yeah, sort of like just a spinning ride with these Virginia reel tubs. They spin around quite fast. Yeah, I thought this would look nice here. I'm quite happy with the way this looks. Another pair of these statues in the middle. Now then over here there's just some food and drink stalls. Once again I built some of these ruins around them. I think it looks pretty nice. And then here we go further along the path. This is the location where there will be a bridge later. For now I just kept it like this. The bridge will be built later. But I didn't want to build it yet, because then guests will just unnecessarily walk back and forth here. Hey, here you can also see the tunnel for the coaster. Now, a diagonal tunnel is always a bit tricky. The game doesn't do diagonal tunnels normally. So I just made the wall completely black here and just covered it with these rocks and some plants above it. I think this looks pretty cool. Alright, and then here we can continue along the path. Here's another tunnel for the ride. And then here is another ride. This ride is called Sacrifice. Well, basically it's just another one of these temples. And it ends up with the guest jumping in the pit here to get sacrificed. Also put all these bones around. But yeah, don't worry, the guests are actually fine. When underground, they drop here onto a path, and then they will emerge out of the ground again somewhere over here. Finally, I made another small temple. This is the temple of toilet, and it's just a toilet inside these in these temple buildings. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how this complete area turned out so far. Oh yeah, and here's something else which I did. Here's the launch section of the coaster, and I just put all these branches above it. I thought it would look cool if this area would be a little bit sheltered like this. I think this gives it a really nice look. Now, for the rest of this episode, I'm just going to add a little bit more decoration over here on this side, and then I think we will have done enough for this episode.
One eternity later.
Alright, I did some final touches in this area. Mostly I added foliage around this section. Also extended this path here a little bit. And I also made this little temple next to the coaster, just to fill up this area a bit. Also did a little bit of work here on the rock edges. Now these will most likely be changed when I start working on the pirate town in the next episode. But for now, I think this is a good start. I think this area has really come together. Alright, this park has a lot of entertainers. I think it's time to name several more of them after some of my patrons. Alright, here you can see the new additions to the entertainer squad. Thank you so much for the support, it's truly appreciated. And I hope you guys enjoy your spot in the park. And if you also want to support my channel, you can find the link to my Patreon channel in the video description. Okay, I think that's enough building for today. I think we can end this episode with a nice cinematic overview of everything that was built today. And of course also a ride on this roller coaster. This one where we follow one of these vehicles around. Now, I hope you enjoyed watching me build. I hope you also enjoyed the music. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It would really help out my channel. I would love to hear in the comments what is your favorite ride in this section and whether you actually liked it or not. And if you want to see more of these videos, you can always subscribe to my channel. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.